Okay, just wanted to take a quick video of this radio. I just got this today, and I fixed this radio already um, because I couldn't film and diagnose it with one hand and diagnose it with the other. But I just wanted to briefly go over what I did in case anybody ever runs across one of these. This is a real old school Cobra 89 XLR AM only radio. It was a big radio back in the day, back when I was a kid. And as you can tell, this one here looks like it'd been sitting at the bottom of the muddy river for about 20 years. But when I got it in today and I hooked it up, no power. Didn't have no power, no matter what I did. So anyway, my troubleshooting steps with this was, and I'm filming this in case anybody else runs across one of these. Whenever you have one of these old Cobras that you have no power, the first thing you want to do is you want to check this transformer. So you take your voltmeter and make sure it's on AC volts, okay? Because that's AC power coming in from the wall. And you want to check your AC voltage between this wire and this wire right here. I had AC voltage. So since I had AC voltage, I want to tell you a cheat on these particular radios, and even a lot of bases today. These also run off 12 volt. Okay, so if you take a 12 volt power supply and plug it in right here, and if you have power, if the radio powers on, let me turn this down a little bit so it don't distract us. If you have power from the AC, then you know that you have a problem either in this transformer or in this power supply. But I didn't have any power to either, okay? So, and I already had a sneaking suspicion that I knew it was wrong with this radio because I've repaired quite a few of these, especially if they've been sitting a long time. The very first thing you want, well, of course, the very first thing you want to do is check the inline fuse back here. I skipped over that, but the fuse was good, and it normally is. Rarely do I ever get one with a blown fuse. So what you want to do here, if you don't have any power going to anything, take the bottom cover off. I've already got it off. That's it right down there. Okay. Find your power switch, which is right there. Check for 12 volts coming in with it on, 12 volts coming out. So if you've got the power switch turned in the off position, you're only going to have 12 volts to one wire. This is the very first thing that this power's got to go through. Of course, just like a light switch. You don't have no lights on in your room or in a house until you turn the switch on. So this is the main gate. Well, with the switch on, I only had 12 volts coming in. So that was telling me that I was getting my supply coming in through the power supply. I was getting 12 volts here, not coming out, even though I had the switch turned on. Now if it's turned off, of course you're only going to have 12 volts coming into one side, but mine was turned on. So this power switch was either dirty or bad, and I probably already knew that it was dirty based on the way this radio looked. So the fix was take some of this here contact cleaner, make sure you shut the radio off, and you spray these little, most of these old pods give you little holes, that little hole, spray some contact cleaner in there and work the dial back and forth for a while, because you want to get all those contacts cleaned. And then after you do that, you want to take some of this little lubricant right here. People argue and say you're not supposed to use this. I've always used it. I've never had a radio come back with a dirty switch ever again. Multi-purpose electrical lubricant. You want to squirt a little bit of that in that hole after it dries, and you can feel the difference after you do that. It's nice and smooth. So I cleaned it up. I cleaned that switch really good. There was a lot of crud coming out of it. Voila, got power. So on these old radios, you're not going to hear anything unless you have a mic hooked up, because it's a grounded mic pin. So let's take one of my. Sorry for the shaking around, man. I'm trying to film this with one hand. Let's plug a mic into it so it'll work. Don't drop it like I did. Okay, let's come over here and let's switch this to the middle position. That's my test. And turn the dummy load on so we're not transmitting over nothing and blowing the finals up. Audio, check 1 2. I got good swing, got good modulation, got squelch. A little bit more clean, and this radio ought to be good to go. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned all the switches, and I cleaned all of these too. Because all needs to be done. Now this radio needs to be refurbished, and that's what I do with these. I replace all these capacitors on this board with these old radios like this. But I'd like to see what it's going to take to get them running first. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to put this up on YouTube. That way, if somebody else runs across one of these radios, at least you have. I wish they were all this easy to fix. Believe me, I just got done working on one for almost a week. That was really complicated before I finally figured it out. But this right here took me 15 minutes. Alright, hope this helps.